Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we're going to be jumping into, that's right, SkyFactory 4. So, I hope you guys are ready. So today is the big day. SkyFactory 4 was released yesterday, so the time you are watching this, it has been out for a very short period of time. And over on Twitch, we already completed the first age and had a amazing live stream thanks to you guys being there. Absolutely amazing. So anyways, let's jump into this video. We're going to go ahead and get started by just talking about what exactly is the process to get started with SkyFactory 4. So getting started with this, we have, you have your normal options, single player, multiplayer mods. Nothing really you need to worry about, except for one thing I want to kind of show you from the beginning is how I set my font. So you can go directly into mods and then go into the font. You can just type font if you want, which is going to be smooth font. You can open this up, and from this font tab, which this is very important, you can select from your list on your PC of fonts. So if you want to change your font, you can go ahead and do so. The font I am using is an HP font called HP Simplified, and all you got to do is click the font you want and hit apply, and you're done. And that will do that. So I get a lot of questions asking what is the font I'm using, and that is the font. The default font is not, they can't ship with the default font other than one that comes standard with your computer. So Arial is what it comes with. I recommend changing it to one that suits you, but just talking about this. So we're going to click the new single player button. It's going to take you to the create a new world. You're going to click create a new world, as you see right here. And this is going to take you into the topography world set. So topography, you can actually start default, super flat, large biomes, amplified, customized, lost cities, compact skies, sky grid, or topography, which topography is the all the custom maps that are defined by Darkosto and his team. So what you want to do is you want to go through, and I'm gonna kind of talk about these first starter maps before we really jump into the episode. We have SkyFactory 4, which is what we will be choosing for this specific playthrough. And this may not be our only playthrough of SkyFactory 4, so keep that in mind that we are going to be running this pack probably a couple different times. Just simply because of the replayability of this pack is so good. And I'll talk about that here in a second. The next map you have is Sky Grids. This is for you crazy people out there that want to try out this map. It is super fun. And does have some crazy stuff you can do. You can see that's what do you see in the background is what you'll have to start with. Then we have compact skies, which is kind of interesting. It tells you down in the description here what this does, but this is if you never played with compact machines before, it's literally a block that is compacted into a little area, but this is a little bit different as you expand these compact sky areas the more you play. Then of course you have amplified, default, large biomes. These are all your kind of standard, like normal world gen, except for there is no origin in the world. So you still have to use the resource generation methods that you would normally have to with any of the other maps. Then you have lost cities, which is a really cool dome looking style. You have flat. So if you want to play in a flat world, you literally can. Looky there. Perfect. You have the SkyFactory tutorial. If you want to know how the trees and everything work, you can start this first and get a little bit more well acquainted with how SkyFactory is going to work, and then you can kind of go into more different more things. The Peace Out mode, standard world made for a pacifist run. Mobs will not drop loot, and if you kill a mob, you will lose the run. Literally, it will close down your save and shut you out of your save. Super cool if you kill a mob. So that's a really, really fun one. And I wonder if that even includes killing like passive animals, I assume. So yeah, kind of crazy. Then we have Project Tree, which is currently not available yet, but as the time that you may watch this video, it may be unlocked. But this is still locked by Prestige. We'll go over Prestige in a little bit. This is locked behind Prestige, and it would require 100 just to unlock the transmutation tablet, and it'll cost 250 just to unlock this world. So this is currently locked, and it says right now coming soon. So like by the time that this pack releases for some of you watching later, it may be already done. So then we have the SkyFactory, which is literally a very large tree structure, which you can start on. You have the Stone Factory, which is a full stone world, so think stone block, very similar. And it really cool. If you like the stone block feel, playing this pack in the stone block type would be really cool. Then you have the Observatory, which is really cool. Astral sorcery kind of styled build that you start in. And also it is made by Captain Cute. And then we have the Sky Village, so you get to start in literally a Sky Village. A Sea World. So this is really interesting. You start in exactly what you see here, and you have to branch out from this glass cube, which is, just as difficult as you may think it is. Then we have a lava version. Then we have an Ender version, Ender Fluid, which teleports you. Some crazy stuff. Then you have the Bedrock World, which looks very interesting as well. Between a rock and a hard place, which I believe is 2 layers of bedrock. That, or it's 2 layers of cobblestone. I think it's a layer of bedrock and a layer of cobblestone or something like that. No, it's between a bedrock floor and a ceiling. So yeah. Then you have Rock Bottom, which is looks like a flat world made of rock. Minesweeper flat world made of TNT. Lights Out, which is the same as the SkyFactory one without any skybox. So it's completely dark. Then you have the Sticky Situation, which this one seems kind of crazy to start in, but this is a world full of string at the bottom. Cobbled together, you have one full of cobblestone, one full of sludge, one full of resonant enter, and then you have one full of cryotheum. Hot Topic, one full of pyrotheum, I believe. Is that pyrotheum? That's pyrotheum, yeah. Then you have one full of lava, one full of water, which actually wouldn't be that bad to do. Chunk Norris, which is a single chunk that also has no ore generation to start on. Skylands, or Sky Islands, which is really cool looking. And you see a bunch of different biomes and islands. Then you have a Material Girl in the Material World one, which is Material Islands, which, as you can see, each island has a different material on it. So getting these islands would be really cool. These are blocks of the material. Lava Cakes, which is, as you see it, literally just glass surrounded by lava. A Hardcore mode, which is the Hardcore world. Increased mob health, armor, and damage with permanent night. And then you have Afraid of the Dark, which is a Hardcore world with increased mob health, armor, damage, and no skylight at all. So completely dark. Very crazy. All right. So that's all the world. We're going to be choosing SkyFactory 4, which is your standard map, your standard sky map. Now let's talk about prestige. So by default, it's disabled. So you can play any of these maps without the prestige mode. But with the prestige mode, which is what we're going to enable, you can do something very interesting. So let's start off. And we're going to use a default seed, leave all these, and we should be ready to go. So what I'm going to talk about is with prestige enabled, some crazy things are going to happen. Without it, everything is unlocked. You can use everything. With prestige mode enabled, some things are going to be locked out for you until you unlock these prestige points. And we're going to talk about that further on as we start our playthrough. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new world. So I loaded into a default world just so you guys can see everything that I do, and you guys can change and configure things the way you want to. So one of the first things that I want to do after jumping into this world that is prestige, I want to hit my J key to open up this menu for JEI. Or not for JEI, sorry, not JEI, for Journey Map. It's been a long time since I've used Journey Map, but we're going to go into options. I'm just going to turn the mini map completely off. I don't need a mini map for this particular type of world, and it really just gets in the way of the experience for me. Secondly, I'm going to hit 0 on the keyboard and open up my Walla. There's a particular way that I like my Walla to be set, and I like to remove the alpha completely from Walla. And hit OK. You don't have to do any of this if you don't want to, but I prefer to have my Walla just kind of say what things are, and they don't obscure anything else in my view. Also, you're going to notice you have a book in your hand that opens up your advancement tab. Also, if you hit L on your keyboard, it also opens up your advancement tab. But what I want to do is go into Options, Controls, and for my personal preference, I like to set my quest book to Z. So this is under Advancements, and by default it should be set to L. I have already changed it, so I have mine set to Z. I just wanted to show you guys some of the things that you can do, and that way I can use a hotkey to open this up. So let's talk a little bit about this quest book. It is pretty interesting from the start. This is not your normal quest book. This is using vanilla advancements to kind of quest your way through this pack. And if we go into Options, Video Settings, and then I bring my scale up to large, I can kind of show you it in a more open area, because it's literally set for a large scale. So here we are, and we have all that. You can see the poggers there, a little bit of Twitch notoriety. But we see this tab over here that says You Win. And we have all these different sections that you can go through and complete. That's what we're going to be working on today. We're going to be working through these different sections. I'm probably going to split them up piece by piece as we move on through these episodes. But I do want to talk a little bit about prestige points. And it says right here, complete all of the advancements on this page, and you'll be awarded with 1 prestige point. And it's like that for each of these different tabs. Eventually you see the one with a little chicken, like a chicken dinner, like you win. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, right? So that's what that's all about. And if you notice, if you read some of these names of these different advancements, you're going to notice some funny little things. Each one has kind of a little quirky pun to it. And we're gonna cover those as we complete them. But let's talk a little bit more about prestige. So this prestige is here. You get a prestige point. Well, what are prestige points used for? Well, if you hit P on your keyboard, it's going to open up your prestige menu. And up here, you can change your background type. So if you want a specific background, with like this one being your ocean one if you want, I prefer this one, which is really, really nice. You can kind of change your background if you want. So when you unlock prestige points, you're going to unlock, you have a choice of unlocking one of these. First, starting off with this one, which is your Zen Gardens, which this is going to be the best one to unlock early on, and it's the only one you can unlock with 1 prestige point. So it unlocks the Hopper Bonsai for future automation resource for automation and resource collection, basically. This basically, as of right now, we are locked out of the bonsai pots. Not every bonsai pot, but the hopping bonsai pots. And you can see right here we have ore excavation in this pack, but we are locked out of ore excavation in the prestige mode. So if you choose not to go with prestige mode, you will have all of these unlocked automatically for you, pretty much making it easy mode, right? And being in prestige mode puts you kind of in a harder mode. And then you have the ore excavation. We can unlock that once we have, as you can see, 2 prestige points. So 1 unlocks this, and then of course these are all chained together. And you can, pick and choose as you go. Also, you have the respec, which you can do every 20 minutes. So if you click this, it'll pull all of your prestige points back out, and then you can pick and choose how you want to stick them as you need them, I guess. But anyways, so ore excavation is something that is in the pack. I know a lot of people ask the question, is ore excavation in here, and how do you use it? It's still grave, but it is locked out until you unlock it if you are using prestige mode, which is what I'm using, because I think that's going to be the most fun. So with that in mind, there is a lot of stuff that is locked in here, and you're going to notice as you go along the things that are locked, specifically the upgrades to your bonsai pots and stuff as we get going. So just keep that in mind. We're going to drop this back down because it makes it easier for mobile users. And we're going to kind of get started. So we need to break this. Right here, we are on a Sky Orchard's dirt leaf tree, right? And one of the best things you can do is immediately mine down just a couple. So we just mine down a couple. And we take this, we pull this out, and we make ourselves a crafting table. And then we can make a crafting table again. And this is called the Infinity Stick. I don't know if it can be used in a crafting. It looks like it can. But this is probably the best use of this stick early on. This stick has no other use other than it's a builder's wand. If you had, I guess, I honestly don't know what it would be used for. I think it's more of a meme than anything. You can put it in here and get yourself crafting slabs, which is perfect. Also unlocks an advancement because it's required. And this crafting slab is going to help you out. Because what we're going to do is we're going to immediately make ourselves a crook. This crook is going to almost guarantee a sapling from this. That's what you want to do. You want to do that. If you don't do that, there's a very good chance that you won't get a sapling. So make sure you get a crook so you can guarantee yourself a sapling. That is step one, is to do this. And also, these crooks are really, really nice. They kind of help you. You get other resources and more abundant of the resources as you go. So be sure to kind of, keep a lookout on that. Also, when you go to repair your tools, such as this, don't throw them away, because you can actually repair them later on. They're not like normal tools. All the tools in here can be repaired with the items they are made from. And we'll go over that here in a little bit. But as of right now, we can just break this whole tree down and make sure we gather a bunch of the wood. And we know there's a dirt block under here, so we don't have to worry too much. And because we have 2 crafting slabs, well, we can just place the slabs right here. And I want to also talk a little bit about something else. Normally, you would see people putting half slabs under here on the bottom. It's doing the half slabs on the bottom. I'm going to tell you that later on, it's going to make it a lot easier if you don't do that. Just coming from experience, if you don't do the bottom slabs like that, your life is going to be way easier. Way easier. Because you won't have to worry about picking those up. It'll be just way easier for you to build on top. Placing machines, torches, chests, everything will also look better if you build sort of like this, even with your dirt. It'll make picking up your items later on also a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is kind of expand this out a little bit so that when we build our next tree, we'll kind of have some room. But what you can do is plant your tree down, and you just hit shift. And if you notice, shift looks a little bit different. The particles are different. The particles actually go to the tree versus the particles coming from the tree. I really do like that change, and it's such a subtle change that some people may not even notice it at first. All right, so we're going to continue to mine this tree out, but like I said, the crook is probably the way to go for getting saplings, so be sure to mine up the inner sides so you guys can get more saplings, because those are always definitely useful. So I'm going to mine up a couple more trees, expand our little island a little bit, and I'll be right back. So now that I've made my platform a little bit larger, I think we should start working on a few other things and kind of talking about how the resource tree generation and stuff like that works from Sky Orchards. Also, this beautiful sky map, if you haven't seen it, when it becomes night, is absolutely amazing looking. I do love it so much. But anyways, back to what we're doing. One of the first tools I want to make before we start talking about this is the wooden paxel. I think this is going to be probably the best tool to make early on until we can get into our other tools. And the wooden paxel is going to just give us some of the basic resources and make it so we don't have to swap tools all the time. So I've already made an axe, but I'm going to throw this axe away because it does have a damage value and we can't actually craft the tool with it. We do need a shovel, and we also need a pickaxe, which will be handy later on. And a couple more pieces of stick. And there we go, we have a paxel. So a paxel is really nice. Also, there's a quest for it, which is really cool. But the paxel is a multi-tool, so now we can do multiple things with this, which will become really handy as we move on down the road. All right, so with our advancements here, we need one that is eating dirt, dirty dancing, which it says craft a dirt block using dirt acorns and a dirt resin. So dirt, resin, and acorn, if we search dirt, we will find there's a crafting recipe for it right here. And if we hit A on our keyboard, you'll see it'll pop up in the left-hand corner. This is a hot slot. So if you hit A while hovering over it inside your crafting recipe tab here, you can click on it here instead of having to search for it all the time. So it gives you a nice little hot recipe slot there. And that's going to allow us to craft some dirt with this resin. So I'm going to grab one for right now, because here in a little bit, we're going to be able to use this even more. I just kind of wanted to show you that these two things are going to be used all throughout this pack to generate resources through different trees that you have to make. And speaking of new trees you have to make, our next tree says craft a petrified sapling, and we also have craft a clay sapling. So if we take a look at a petrified sapling, which pulls up here, you can see we need petrified acorns. And you may be wondering, how do you get petrified acorns? Well, petrified acorns use a drying rack in order to get the petrified acorn. So if you remember drying racks, good old friend, which they come from Tinker's Construct, you might recognize the drying rack. So something we can do is temporarily place down a few half slabs. I say half slabs, but a few slabs, wooden slabs. And we should be able to make some. Now, I only need 8, so this is 6, 7, and 8. I'm just going to throw that there for right now. But I need to pretty much fill my inventory with this because we need a little bit more, but this will do. And you can place these just like so. And what you want to do is take your acorns and place them on there and give them a little bit of time, and these things are going to turn into the petrified version. And it's very simple. Just follow the JEI recipes, and you should be able to progress through the sapling section pretty simple. Getting through it, it just requires a little bit of time and a little bit of patience, and you should be able to handle yourself. So, when it like it said, it just required a little bit more wood. All we literally have to do is just make just a few more, just break a few more logs, and we're pretty much at that point, right? And like I said earlier, I don't have ore excavation, even though you could do this in another run, which would give you ore excavation, right? So, perfect there. And then we're going to break this, and then I'm going to place down my other acorn. And like I said, eventually these are going to change. Shouldn't take too long. I think the normal recipe time for most things is 2 minutes, but I don't think these even take that long. So now that these are done and ready to go, we should be able to make that sapling, which is super simple. Like the recipe says, dirt sapling surrounded by that gets you a petrified sapling. Now the petrified sapling works exactly the same as all the other saplings. All these saplings are going to work very similar. Their drop rates are going to be the same all around, I'm pretty sure, when it comes to the crook and sapling drops. So you want to make sure to hit these leaves with a crook so you can make sure you're guaranteed some saplings, because you don't want to have to redo that whole recipe just because you didn't get a sapling. So you should get 2 or 3 saplings by using a crook. It's pretty much guaranteed at this point. With as many times as I've used this crook on saplings within my playthroughs of this already, yeah, you're guaranteed a sapling. So that's what you want to do with most of your plants, is to hit this with the crook. Even later game, when you're making higher tier saplings, you're still going to want to plant them and do it this way. So what does this thing make? Well, the petrified, that makes cobblestone. And you're going to make cobblestone, pretty much making it the same way you made dirt. And now you're going to get those petrified acorns, and you don't have to make them. So, cobblestone? Well, we might want to add that to our hotbar, because the recipe for it is right here. So, if we add it down here, you want to kind of keep these base recipes there, because you're going to be using them quite a lot, as you can see. Now, we currently don't have enough of the acorns. We got to have 4 acorns in order to make each one. But once we get there, we're going to be able to make, once I do a few more of these trees, we should have enough to hopefully get ourselves a furnace so we can really get cooking. So now that we have enough cobblestone, we can really start pushing this bad boy and getting ourselves that furnace that we really want, so we can start cooking some stuff. So let's go ahead and make all that cobblestone, which of course we need only 8 to get this done. I want to save some of this stuff because we can use it for other things later on. But there we go. We now have ourselves a furnace. It's that quick. Now, when it comes to building this base and making it look nice, we are going to do that in a few episodes from now. The reason why I don't want to really start working and making this too beautiful just yet is because I want to get my chisel first, which means I need to at least get to an iron sapling, or at least to the production of iron. which actually doesn't take very long, even in this go through. So now that we have that, well, we should take a look at the clay sapling, because the clay sapling these are some of the fundamental saplings that you really need to get started with, at least this early. So the clay sapling is going to require, well, the petrified rock, the dirt, and the dirt sapling. This one is one of the most simple ones to make, because you should have everything in your inventory in order to make it. Look at that. Clay sapling, just like that. Actually, I'm going to make 2 of them, just because of how easy they are to make. And what I want to do is get a bunch of clay from this, and to utilize this furnace, because what we're going to be making is our first bonsai pots. These bonsai pots are where it's at, and this is what we're going to actually start working on right here, is making these guys. So what I need to do, I'm going to go ahead and get the brick made. I'm going to go ahead and get enough saplings done up that will generate us some clay. And of course the clay is made the same way. Now you may be wondering how you don't actually click the normal clay, you click the regular clay. So this is how you actually get the clay in general. So like I said, I'm going to save it over here. And this is, you actually make the block form instead of the item form. But you can convert the block to an item. So I'm going to continue to do this, and I'll be back once we get the bonsai pots. So once you get to this point and you get your bricks all ready to go, we can go ahead and take these and craft them into bonsai pots. Oh yeah. Bonsai pots are going to make this way, way easier. So eventually we're going to have some more bonsai pots. We're going to end up replacing this dirt, or not just replacing the dirt, but what we can do is actually substitute this dirt with grass. And we can do this and pretty much duplicate our dirt output. If we can grab this dirt without dropping it, which is not always the easiest thing to do. If you kind of go at this at the right angle, sometimes you can get the dirt, but sometimes you drop some, as you see there. That's okay. I think we have enough for one more piece, maybe. Yes. All right. So with that all said and done, I think that's enough. There we go. We should be able to get and make ourselves just a few more things that are going to really help us in getting our bonsai set up. And that is, one of them, well, is making a cauldron, and the other one is making ourselves a crushing tub. So, all of these are going to be utilized. So let's go ahead and put our crushing tub here, and then we can put the cauldron here. And then we can go ahead and pull the rest of our clay out, because we're going to need that. And we're going to go ahead and get ourselves an unfired bucket, and well, fire that bucket. Because that's going to be how we actually get our first bits of water. And getting our water, we can actually make an unlimited water source, same as you would normally do. Let's go ahead and take that water, or take this, and let's go ahead and figure out how do we actually make water. Well, I already kind of know, so I'm going to kind of spoil it. But we take 10 saplings, throw it in here, and we can just stomp on it for a little bit until you see all the items disappear. There's a faster way of doing this, but I'll show that later. And what we can do is we can take this and grab our bucket, go ahead and get us a bucket of water, and then we can make our water source. I'm going to make my water source right here for right now, as we have somewhere to kind of space it out. And I'm going to do the same thing. 10 there. And just throw it in and do a little jump hop till all that's done. And that'll give us an unlimited water source. Perfect. All right, so with this unlimited water source, we can fill this thing up, and we should be able to get ourselves some leaves now. We place some dirt in here for temporarily. We can plant just any old sapling in there. It really doesn't matter. And what you're going to see is this thing's going to start growing up. That's exactly what you want it to do. You want to see these things grow up, and you want to have an axe or paxel or anything that you have that you harvest wood with in your inventory, because what you're going to do is not left click, right? We're going to right click with this. We're going to use our right-click function. When these hit 100%, this should drop some leaves. And what you want to do with your first leaves is you're going to turn this into grass. So we should have gotten some leaves, potentially. Doesn't look like we did that round, but of course this is going to start regrowing again. And this go around we should get some leaves. If not, eventually you will get leaves. And there might be wooden shears. No, there's not. Let's just say there might have been, but I guess there's not. But yeah, anyways, you should still get leaves. It is a very high % chance of getting leaves through this way. And once you get some of them, you should be good. Now these should, let's see. This is I have the clay saplings in there. Take a look. You do see there's a 25% chance. So we're kind of rocking on the edge of getting it, but 25% chance is pretty high. And once you do get those, they really do work. Work well. And like I said, I really want to show that. So I ended up getting some leaves, which is perfect. We have 2 for right now, which is going to be good enough. But like I said, you can take a piece of dirt, once you have this full of water, place it in there. It's going to create some mud for you. And then you just right-click your leaves, and that one piece of mud, which is dirt, will end up getting you a lot more grass. It's a good way to quadruple your output. And grass actually gives you 100% drop chance versus the 90% drop chance that you get with these. So it is better to upgrade. Definitely better to upgrade. And like I said, you do get 4 uses on this, so you should get enough to resupply. And there's our last pieces of brick ready to be done. And now we have 8 bonsai pots ready to go that we can utilize for any of our saplings for in the future. And of course, we're going to expand on this because the more you have, the faster you can do things. So getting started with your clay is probably really good. Getting a few clay running in here. Getting all of your clay nice and going is probably the best thing to do, because you're going to want quite a few of these regular bonsai pots, because the more of them you have, the faster you are going to gain resources, the faster you can progress through this part of the pack. So, guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. I really do. I hope you're going to enjoy the future episodes, because there are going to be several of them. Anyways, guys, if you haven't already joined our Discord, this is the part where I promote it. There are some super awesome people that are on the Discord that are really just there to help. So if you have any questions about this mod pack or anything that you want to know, I recommend hopping on there, and there are people there that are willing to answer your questions. Or if you just, at me, of course, when I get around to it, I will be more than willing to answer the questions. Also, if you followed me already on Twitch, I am at twitch.tv/ChosenArchitect. You can find the links down in the description below, and I'll probably have a pinned comment down there where you will also find a link to my Twitch if I'm currently live. Anyways, I do really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed already, I highly recommend doing so. And also giving this video a huge thumbs up, as it does help the search rankings. Anyways, guys, I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.